You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and Jon.
Hey, it's Dave. Welcome back to Guitar Talk.
And it's Jon. What the hell is happening?
And today, looks like we have a special guest. We have Mr. Tony Fuentes. Tony, welcome to the show.
Thank you both, Dave and Jon, for having me. This is a great honor, and thank you so much.
The late, great Tony Fuentes.
What a terrible thing to say.
Sorry, yeah, you have to edit my laughs.
No, those are staying. They're magic.
Right? So, Tony, you, I started watching your channel and Jon, both probably around the same time. For some reason, we were talking about YouTube channels, and both of us said, "Have you seen Tony Fuentes?" And we both started laughing, going, "Man, the George Lynch stuff, we love it. It's hilarious." So, tell us, when did you start your YouTube channel?
I would say, I think my YouTube channel says 2006 or 2007. That's when I signed up for an account. But I remember seeing like one or two players, I forgot who they are, playing George Lynch covers. And I was the only person that was playing George Lynch in San Diego that I knew of ever since 1982. And I was into YouTube. I'm like, wow, these guys are playing George Lynch besides me, because YouTube was different and new for me.
Sure.
So I see these guys playing George Lynch, and I'm like guitar players do, he's not playing it right. He's playing. I'm not criticizing, not saying they're bad players. I was like, great, but they're not playing it right. This is how they play it, but here I am. I didn't know anything about cameras, accounts, uploading, nothing. So I'd be watching for these videos to pop up, and I started looking for all these George Lynch videos, whether it be concerts or George Lynch actually uploading something, or commercial videos by Dawkins or Lynch Mom. So I saw these videos on by these 2-3 players on YouTube around 2005, 2006. And I'm like, I can do that, but I never did it. So I was always on the sidelines, critiquing, working on my stuff. And then I'm like, let me upload one video and see where it takes me. I deleted it. It was crappy. But I uploaded a video of me playing some licks and so forth. And I got a few hits, and I was really happy with it. I deleted it like about 2 years later, because it was just really old, and it was just really bad looking back on it. But when I did it, it was like great. So I would say around 2009, 2010, I started uploading regularly. But I logged into YouTube around 2006, 7. I started uploading George Lynch videos around 2009, 10.
Almost 10 years.
Yeah. So, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, for sure. And I noticed that you had you're still doing it, because I saw a video. I don't know if you're sponsoring them or what you're doing, but something about some George Lynch Reproduction guitars.
No,
Juan guitars, whatever that was.
That's Jun Huang. He's a good friend. Jun Huang. He is a remarkable luthier, and he basically wanted to do his own copy of a replica, his version of one of the carved guitars.
Right.
I didn't know about June because I had one of my carved guitars from a guy named Dave. I can't remember his last name, but he gave me. Well, I bought my first carved guitar from this other guy named Dave that lived in National City or Chula Vista. I forgot his name. So, anyways, I bought his guitar, and I thought I was the only one that had this carved guitar. I didn't know anything about Mr. Scary guitars. And then, sure enough, George Lynch does a video. I'm like, I have that guitar, but this other guy named Dave did his own carving. So I had my one of a kind. Then I started seeing other people getting their carved guitars. So then I'm like, okay, let me change mine up. So, so on and so forth. Enter Jun Huang, who's on my channel. He goes, hey, check this out. What do you think about it? And I saw his design. I'm like, I got to have that guitar. So he made me, I think the Shark Hunter or the Snake Hunter, his version of it, replica of the Mr. Scary guitar. I'm like, I got to have it. So he made it for me, customized it, gave me the body, and I did all my work on it. I'm like, oh, this is incredible. And then he made another model, and then he made another model. I'm like, I got to have that one. So he starts sending me these. I'm like, wow, what can I do for you? And basically, I just started promoting him. So he's making these replicas, and they're outstanding. And I'm like, show people, hey, look what I got in the mail. And where'd you get that? So I started getting all these questions. I'm like, go to June Juan, go to June Juan. He doesn't have a store, doesn't have a business, just out of his house. He carves it out of his house. He he does it by hand, one at a time. I'm like, if you have any questions, I don't know how he does it. You know, whatever he's going to charge you, that's between you and June. But I got this from June, and it's this. If you're interested, contact June. And so he makes them. I want them. I share them with everybody. And if they want one too, they can contact June. But no, I'm not endorsed by anybody.
Right. Yeah. I just saw the video that you reposted, I don't know, maybe 5 days ago, a couple days ago.
They posted a video. What was it, a docking video?
No, it was just, I think it was just that guitar. Maybe you reposted it or something? I don't know, but I found it through your channel.
I know I have on my channel for visitors and returning subscribers, basically a promo for his guitars. So I kept getting questions. So when you log on or visit, that's the first video you're going to see.
Oh, okay, that's probably all it is.
Tony, what are you holding there?
This is, I got from a subscriber that they said they had this from 1978, and they built it themselves as a replica of Eddie Van Halen's original 1978 guitar. I've always wanted one, but I never got a chance to buy the Charvel or the EVH brand, so I was never going to get one. One day I was going to get one. Then this came in the mail. I'm like, I'm undeserving of this. And so this is their replica of the 1978.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm like, thank you so much. And what can I do for you? He goes, nothing, just enjoy it. Take care of it. I'm like, well, thank you so much.
Is there a logo on the headstock or no?
No, it's
Didn't Eddie have a logo on his headstock though?
I believe he had Gibson.
That's exactly right. Look at you.
And it was
it's exactly right.
And then it had cheap tuners, so I added gold tuners to it. I don't know if you can see that, but
yeah,
I'm really happy with it. And I was like totally stunned. I'm like, it's been my go-to guitar of late, just because it's just so easy to play. You know, it's just easy to play. So it's not it's not the real thing. It's not an EVH copy, but it's someone else's copy that they had since 1978, 79.
Right.
I'll take it. Thank you so much.
So that's like almost a 40-year-old guitar.
Yeah, the attention to detail is like
probably also made with the same parts, because back then it was pretty easy to get a boogie body and a Charvel. Who was Charvel next? Who are they getting their necks from?
ESP or something? I don't know.
I think he was getting them from Warmouth before they were Warmouth, but the guy Warmouth was making the necks for Charvel. I'm pretty sure because I believe that Grover Jackson continued to have them make necks, and got them to do the 10-16, and they've been doing that since then.
Yeah. So I got really lucky with this, and so I just when I have it sitting on the side, and I just want to noodle around, I pick it up. I have my other ones for different tone, but this has the original DiMarzio Super Distortions.
Right.
I always think back to Ace Frehley and Paul Stanley, so I'm not going to change it out. But all I did was elevated the bridge so that I can make it float. That's all I did, because I guess his just goes down. But I like that. I like to pull up.
So since I've been on YouTube myself, I've only had the channel going now 2 years, I think, and I found like this whole like underground community of guitar players, and I noticed something that they do that you've done, which was, do you remember when you did like you were giving a guitar away, I believe, and you had everybody play their George Lynch solos, or that you had a backing track that they had to play to. And there's all these guys up in Canada in the Northeast that do that same thing on YouTube, and they'll probably be watching this show. But it's a cool community because somebody makes a backing track, and then they all try to support and put a video to it. I thought it was a really cool thing when I saw your channel do that. But so your channel's been going for quite some time. Tell me, when did you start playing guitar? Where did you grow up? You told us before we started you've been in California since '75. Where before that?
Well, long story short, my father was in the Mexican government, so he was always being transferred. So I was born in Phoenix, and then from there we moved to Maryland, and then from Maryland it was to San Diego, and then I got to San Diego. Well, they were moving before I was born a lot, but
Right.
it was Phoenix, Arizona, then Maryland for a few years, and then San Diego since 1975. So I've been in 75. I started playing guitar in 1975.
Wow. Who was your heroes then?
It was always George Harrison, the Beatles,
Uh-huh.
and I discovered Kiss right around the same time frame.
Sure, Kiss Alive had come
Yeah.
out.
I saw your rant on Kiss. End of the
I love the first three Kiss albums. I was a huge Kiss fanatic. I do not like the Destroyer album. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. So I was into Guitar Heroes was always George Harrison, the Beatles, Ace Frehley, Kiss, and obviously Eddie Van Halen came up. And then in the sequence, it was Eddie Van Halen, Randy Rhoads, George Lynch. Around the George Lynch era, when you had Rudolph Schenker, Michael Schenker, Vivian Campbell, and you had all those guitar players, Warren DeMartini, Jakey Lee, branching out after Randy Rhoads.
Let's talk about some of those guys, because some of those guys were the guys who I loved growing up. I was a big Matthias Jabs fan, too.
Yes.
And because I thought he was of that ilk of like Eddie Van Halen. And I also liked Glenn Tipton from Judas Priest a lot.
Oh, yes.
And but there was a lot of good players back then that were coming out. I remember, I'm not a big George Lynch fan, except I do still like the album Tooth and Nail.
Yes. That changed, yeah. That was really, really good.
Yeah, that album to me was like, that's like still because of my childhood when I think of Alone Again and Just Got Lucky.
Uh-huh.
That Just Got Lucky to me is like a classic pop metal song that is overlooked and forgotten. Whereas, when people talk about the Dream Warriors, I'm like, what?
Yeah, Just Got Lucky. I always liked it. I always attributed Just Got Lucky as being influenced by Neil Sean because of that melody that he had. And Neil Sean always had melodies on his songs. Like
that sounds right.
Yeah. In fact, it's similar to In Vain. I would think of it as what's that song? I was alone and I didn't know. It's similar to that type of sound.
You hum that melody, and it's like, this is unique. And this is when Holy Diver was out. This is when Autograph was out. And then Tooth and Nail comes out. And it was totally different than Van Halen's 1984. I'm like, I'm gravitating towards this type of metal guitar playing. Because Rising Force was like right at the beginning of 84, 85. And people ditched Eddie to flock over to the neoclassical Ingve, Paul Gilbert, Tony McAllister, and Vinnie Moore. I can't play that. I tried and tried. I can't play scales. I can't do alternate picking. And I was getting passed by all my cohorts, my classmates and whatever, and other competing guitar players. They were playing that neoclassical shred, and they blew me into the weeds. I couldn't do that sweeping stuff. So I'm like, what can I do? So I was just focusing on George Lynch. So when they heard me, I was different than everybody else.
Right.
And I was always like, I can't play like that, but I don't sound like you because you sound like everybody else. So it was a catch up. I can't play. I don't know any scales. I faked it. And so, but I was always jealous of the guys that can shred the Paul Gilbert and the Ving. I was like, damn, you're good. Damn, you're fast.
Yeah.
So I would stick to my George Lynch stuff. And I was totally different than what they were doing because they were like alternate picking. And I would do just like sporadic picking to do my George Lynch technique, which is just sounded different than the neoclassical stuff. I'm like, well, I can't do that. And there's so many people that can do it really, really well. And if I learn it really, really well, I'm in that pool of it sounding like everybody else. That was my thinking. I'm going to stay over here because the Eddie Van Halen Eruption was already been there, done that. So what else is there for me? Randy Rhoads was like already, he already passed. I'm going to stick with George Lynch. He's flashy, he's different. And so I just stuck with George Lynch while everybody was progressing this way, more technical, more skill. I just like the flashiness of George Lynch's playing. So I just stuck with that. I know that's, to my detriment because I didn't learn and grow. I still listen to other players like Satriani, Vai, but I just thought these guys were too advanced for me to learn, and I'd have to break down my playing to start learning scales. All my friends were going to GIT, and they were like pumping out Paul Gilbert's and Bruce Boulier guys left and right. I'm like, these guys are blowing me out the water. So I'm going to focus on George Lynch and see if I can emulate him or copy his style because no one else is doing it. So that's the reason why I stuck with George Lynch. You know.
But at the same time, you also have a strong affinity to that style of play, regardless of technical ability.
Yeah, I mean, it's all. I was determined.
That style, regardless, is my point. I mean, it's like even though someone's playing Satriani, you don't have a love for that sound that you do for Paris is Burning.
True.
That's
I
what
appreciate. Yeah, I appreciate the skill level. And again, I'm not knocking any of the, people liking someone better over another guitar player to me is different than, well, that guitar player is better than, it's like, I know these guitar
like
players.
Mean anything to anybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
but people could say to me, like, I love listening to Alan Holdsworth, but if someone says, can you play any? I'm always like, it's above my pay grade.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's just totally night and day. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's just ridiculous. And I love listening to him, but I never pursued that avenue of playing because I didn't feel like it was comfortable to me. Like I didn't relate to it musically for me to pursue it. And that's what I meant when I said your affinity to George Lynch really is what you kept more in that George Lynch than say you couldn't just do it, because it's almost like you can't do it or you don't want to do it. And you didn't want to do it and that's fine.
Yeah. I also couldn't do it. Because I remember
you couldn't do it because you didn't have that desire. There's something about a desire when if you hear like something, you're like, I'm going to learn that. And you do the work, and sometimes it's a lot of work. Sometimes it isn't. I mean, that's where talent lay. When people sit there and say, oh, that guy's really good, he's talented, I always say, how do you know? You don't know if that guy played this the first time unbelievable or if he's working at that lick for 30 years.
Yeah.
That's where the talent lay, in that difference of how fast did he pick it up. True. Because after any amount of hard work and dedication, you can do anything.
Yeah. I remember I had a whole bunch of friends, neighborhood friends. You probably relate to this back in the early 80s. You get albums and you want to learn the albums, and then you share it with your friends. There's some friends that won't want to share what they learned. Other friends, it was competitive. It's like, oh, I learned the Flying High Again. Well, I learned, Holy Diver, Rainbow in the Dark.
Right.
Show me this. Well, show me this. So we'd have, lick parties and just licks and so forth. And then one guy had the MXR pedal, one guy had the Boss pedal, one guy had the DOD pedal. I had the DODs. Remember DOD?
Of course.
Yeah, so I had DODs, and my friend had the MXR. They had the Randy Rhoads effects. This guy had the Eddie Van Halen effects. Well, this guy can play Eruption. Well, this guy can play Randy. And I'm like, well, okay, well, I can play that and that, but I don't sound like that, but I can play this. There was like a fun competitiveness. And I got that from George Lynch when he was interviewed. It's like a healthy competitiveness. You're not competing, but they keep you on your toes. It's like, wow, I can learn my chops. When George saw Eddie in 76, 77, he thought he sucked. So he went back and practiced. So it's like a competitive thing. So I love it. Yeah.
That's great stuff. I mean,
Tony, is it true that George Lynch heard about a guy in San Diego who could play all of his stuff in the late 90s, and that's when he went into competitive bodybuilding, thinking this guy's not going to do that too?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm totally kidding right now.
I thought you were serious. You know what? I'm like the people that
But it does make me wonder if you went into competitive bodybuilding in the late 90s.
No. But I can't read poker faces. I don't know when people are joking. I love being a jokester, but people can say something, and I'm like, I believed you. Oh my God.
Don't ever go to that Oceans Casino then. Is that what it's called? Oceans?
Yeah.
What's that one? It's like almost when you're on your way to Oceanside. What's that casino called on PCH?
No idea.
Is it Oceans 11 or Oceans 12?
Yeah, they called it Oceans 11, I believe.
Yeah.
So I went to Viejas in 91, 92, and I lost $700. I never went back gambling again because I was like winning and losing, cashing checks, using my debit card, And then I had my cash. I'm like, oh wow, this sucks. And I lost $700. I never want to gamble. Never had the itch for it. I learned my lesson.
So let me ask you this: Are you now? We see you use that Boss.
The jam station thing, whatever it's called.
There it is.
Yeah.
You use the Boss.
Yes.
And are you using any other amplifiers, or basically you're like now just the home player? You just play into your house and.
Yeah, I'm the home player. I play through my house or in my house, and I've been using the Boss E-band, I believe.
What amplifiers do you have, or do you know, or is that it?
I sold my amp. The last amp I had was a PB Viper 30 watt. So I bought it for all the bells and whistles, and I thought this is great. It has the chorus, it had everything I need. I thought I couldn't get it to work the way I wanted it. I'd set presets, turn the thing off, come back the next day, it disappeared or didn't save. I'm like, this sucks. I saw Marcello, what's his name? Marcello, the guitar player, Marcello, is that his name? The guitar wizard, Marcello. I forgot his name. Another shredder. He did a review on E-band, and he had these great tones. I'm like, how's he getting these tones? I saw him do the E-band, and so I'm like, I'm going to try the E-band. So I had the E-band, and I hooked it up to the PV Viper, and it sounded like even twice as bad. So I had the E-band, I put it back in its box, and I put it in the closet for about a couple of years. So I wasted my money on the E-band, and now I had a PV Viper that I didn't like anymore. So then I finally, you know what, I sold the PV Viper, and then I'm like, I'm going to break out the E-band again. Let's see what this thing can do. I just started tweaking it. I started coming up with some better tones. I'm like, this is not bad.
You didn't get rid of the E-band. You still had it?
I have 3 right now.
Oh, no, but when you brought it back out, you said you brought it back out. Where was that?
Yeah, it was the Boss JS. It was the E-band JS8, which is the first generation. It was in the closet. I just put it in the closet because I wanted to hook it up to an amp to get it to a full sound, not the little speakers. But it was competing with the effects of the Viper, and then I had the effects on the E-band. I'm like, this sounds like crap. I'm like, what a waste of money. But I didn't know I had to be separate. That's why I bought the powered speaker, which is a 600 watt speaker. It's over here.
Oh, okay. What kind is it?
It is Alto. It's an Alto.
It's a great.
Okay.
Yeah. And I did a review on it, and when I hooked it up to the speaker, it sounded like I had a big amp.
Sure.
Like a commercial. And I tweaked it, and I did a video on it. I'm like, this is all I need. I'm not jamming with anybody. If I can, or if I want to, that's all I need. I don't need any stomp boxes, because I developed some tone patches where I don't need to have stomp boxes. And
the reason why I asked, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
Because we guitar players are hoarders.
Yeah.
We love collecting stuff. So I first of all appreciate the fact that you have 3 of them, which I find excellent.
There's a reason for that, but no one knows the reason. But I'll tell you the reason.
No, but the other, because I know the reason, because you're a hoarder. We're all hoarders in guitar world.
No, there's a reason.
How many guitars do you have? 15 of those George Lynch guitars now?
I'm gonna do you're gonna force my hand. I will do a video of just look what I have, but I don't want it to be like I'm bragging.
No, not at all. I'm asking as a question. How many guitars?
7 or 8 of George Lynch style guitars. 5 of them are from June. One's from another guy I met online. I have the yellow Tiger replica that he did himself. That Dave guy who gave me the original carved Tiger that you see ESP make, he did before they did.
A kamikaze.
I don't have any ESPs. I don't own any ESPs. As back in the 80s, I wanted one.
Right.
As I started seeing YouTube, everyone's like, I got an ESP. I was jealous, and I was like ticked because they had these guitars I wanted in the 80s. This is already 2000s.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want them anymore because now they all have them. It's like, hold on 1 second. Yeah. They're all, everyone's got an ESP. I'm like, I want an ESP.
When John bought an ESP, he called me and told me he got one, and I was like, I already knew because I had an ESP. Thank you for.
Oh, for God's sake.
That's the joke.
And I'm not knocking ESP. I love ESP, but everyone's got them. It's like, well, now there's no. I wouldn't stand out if I had a kamikaze because everyone's got kamikazes. Right. I was like the Christmas one, and
that's also a tremendously expensive guitar. What is the ESP Kamikaze is what, like $3,700 or something like that.
Yeah, and I'm not poor, not broke. I just can't justify that because this, well, I have guitars that are like, I have a $50 body, a $150 neck.
Right.
If I put it in a good pickup, I'm happy with it.
Sure.
And it's probably the whole thing is it's not that different. A bolt-on neck guitar for that much money just seems like, man, that's a lot of dope.
Yeah, and I'm not to each his own. And if you have one, not you. If people have them, that's wonderful. Some people hang them up and they look at them as wall art. That's totally fine. To me, everyone's got an ESP. That's a George Lynch fan. I'm like, well, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to have.
Now, didn't he go to GSP initially because, first of what I remember, I heard he didn't like the guys at Kramer, but he wanted that guitar. And he went to ESP because ESP was making the Beretta. And he basically wanted to change the Beretta back to the hockey stick. Yeah. And he wanted a neck pickup, but he didn't want to add a switch. He just wanted to push. And that's basically because I had an 86 Beretta, Kramer Beretta, and it was basically the exact same guitar as the Kamikaze. Great guitar.
I always wanted a Kramer. He had a red one, he had a black one. I guess he traded him in for something else. Yeah. But he had the Kramers, and then he switched off the necks. That's on the Alone Again video, and then just got lucky. He's got 2 different Kramers in the videos, and he's also put a Kramer neck on his original yellow, black, and white Tiger.
Right.
Like, had since forever. He has a Kramer neck on that one, so that guitar's seen a bunch of necks. Yeah, he was in the Kramer for a little bit, but I guess he was unhappy with it. And then he has Charbel with that Charbel submarine guitar in '85.
I remember reading when I was a kid that he didn't get along with those guys or didn't want to deal with them. So you have a collection of guitars, 3 amps, and basically you're like a home player, which is great. I mean, you have a lot of fun. We love your channel. We watch your channel and get a kick out of it. Mainly, you get a kick out of when you play a guitar lick and then start laughing and go, totally George Lynch.
I was like that as a kid. Well, in high school.
It's infectious. We laugh our ass off.
Back then, it was a big deal to do a pinch harmonic in '81. Yeah. And I had an MXR pedal, but a distortion, and someone else had a phaser. And when we connected both the phaser and the MXR, this is already like 1982, 83, 78 was already long gone. We were learning Eruption back in 81, 82, and we were sounding like what we thought Eddie was sounding like, and we get a pinch harmonic. Oh my God, I'm Eddie. I'm Eddie.
Isn't it amazing? Oh my God, I sound like Eddie. You were there, but isn't it pretty amazing that people don't realize how much Eddie changed music and in the guitar playing in general, just how much it evolved from him coming out?
The only downside for the millennials now, they have videos. Because back then, we had cassette tapes and records. All of us remember that. Yeah. And I would lift off the needle, put it back down, lift off the needle. And that was fun for me. And I had a lot of people who wouldn't show me stuff. You were forced to learn it by ear and then, wing it. Now you can just watch a video and get, learn it for free, whatever. But back then, he just revolutionized everything. Because I thought Ace Frehley was the best of all time before that '78 album came out. Ace Frehley?
Right.
I thought he was the best. And then I heard Eruption, obviously, like everybody else. I'm like, damn.
What's your favorite Kiss album? Don't say Destroy.
No. For me, I have an affinity for it. It was during the Don Kirshner's rock concert. They played I Want You. And so that was Rock and Roll Over. That was my favorite Kiss album.
Right. Okay. Take Me was on that. It had I'm trying to think of the standouts. It was Love 'Em, Leave 'Em on that album. Love 'Em. Baby Driver's on that album. Mr. Speed is on that album.
I know. Calling Dr. Love.
My favorite album is the first. I just love the first album with 100,000 Years and Now,
did you hear that before the live album? Because my first Kiss I heard was live. Kiss Alive was my first. So everything before that, I'm like, this doesn't sound as good as the live. So I was spoiled with the live album.
Well, I'm a little younger than you. So in 1977, I was turned on to Kiss. I was 9. And my friend had Kiss Alive 2 had just come out.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I heard. And then I remember like a couple of weeks later, I went over his house and he had Rock and Roll Over. And I went out and got Destroyer. And then like by 1979, I think I had everything. And I got Kiss Alive in 1979 on my 11th birthday. And I was like, I like these songs the best. And then I went back and got the first 3 albums. And then I didn't like the second 3 albums that much. You know what album I liked? I liked Dynasty.
Yeah, I like Dynasty. My last album, like yours, I think it was, where I stopped. I almost quit on them after, I think it was called The Elder. I almost quit on them after The Elder, but I definitely stopped buying them right after Unmasked.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Because I was already, this is already what, 82, I think? I was already into my Motley Crue, Quiet Rock, and it was Night and Day from Kiss.
Yeah.
And then they were looking, so.
Yeah, that's great. So good, you were a Kiss fan. These are good things to know.
Oh yeah, then all that, and if you follow the movie The Dirt, all that 80s, like you've been there. You're all my age. I'm not old.
I think you're just a few years older than me. I mean, if I had to make a guess, my guess would be. Wait,
do I dye my hair?
You?
No, I'll be 52 this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're a year older than me. You're born
67. I was born 67.
Yeah, I'm born in 68. Wow.
So the whole 80s wave, I learned all the Van Halen stuff. I learned all the Eddie Van Halen stuff with my friends and stuff. But I wasn't sounding like Eddie Van Halen. I was playing it. And I was learning all the Randy Rhoads and Blizzard of Oz stuff just to learn it, to compete, to learn it and trade and jam with other players. But I didn't sound like Randy Rhoads. So that was one of my things I was noticing. I'm like, yeah, I know this song. I can play this song. Great for cover bands. But I didn't sound like these guys.
Sure.
When I started hearing George Lynch, he just started doing things. I'm like, it doesn't sound right. What is he doing? Randy Rhoads already passed. So I was already over Randy Rhoads.
Right.
I still liked him. Eddie Van Halen was already being surpassed, so to speak, by the neoclassical shred stuff. So I'm like, what can I do to sound like George Lynch instead of playing George Lynch? Because all I was doing at first was just copying George Lynch. And I wasn't sounding like, but everybody else was sounding like anybody. They were sounding like Paul Gilbert. Like, these guys sound like those guys. Do I sound like George Lynch? I need to hone in on it. So I just picked one little detail, and I just literally with VHS tapes, rewind. I had a lot of audio bootlegs. I'm like, I was just listening to audio cassette tapes of, when you went to like record stores, you buy the trade magazines, you send $1 for a list of their list of all their bootlegs, and then you look for all the Dawkins shows. And I'm like, I want these 4. You submit your money. Like 6 weeks later, you get your cassette tapes. They were really crappy, the audio. But I was just like, for me, it was like in heaven, because I was learning all these George Lynch licks that no one else knew, no one else was going to hear, because all they had were the studio albums. And there was only like 2 or 3 studio albums out at the time. But here I am with George Lynch live on audio cassette. So I was learning all these licks that I heard live that no one else had access to. And so I was like, where'd you learn those licks? From George Lynch. Where? It's not on the album. It wasn't from the album. This is what he did back in, Texas. This is what he did in L.A. And that's why so I was always looking for live audio, live video, and I got most of my knowledge of his technique from the live shows, as opposed to the studio versions, because everybody was learning the studio versions.
Did you like the band Autograph?
I liked Autograph. Yeah, I know they were kind of cheesy.
Good. So I'm trying to see maybe the Lynch connection.
Oh no! Well, at first I thought they were related at first, but I was like totally impressed with his hammer. Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because look at John's expression.
I got nothing.
I saw you go like this. I'm like, what did I do?
All I know is turn up the radio. Other than that, I have nothing. What is the George Lynch connection with Autograph. What were you talking about?
Oh no, he was
His name is Steve Lynch.
when I first heard.
Oh, that's a good bit. I just had no idea. I had no idea.
I heard Steve Lynch, George Lynch. Are they related? I don't know, but I just at the time I didn't know what he looked like, but I just knew he was doing hammer-ons, and then
So back in the '80s, you were playing in cover bands and doing all that stuff. Were you carrying around a monster rig with you?
Oh no! I had a Yamaha 50-watt amplifier, which is all I needed back then. It was a Yamaha 50-watt solid-state amp. I had like 5 effects pedals, and then that was it.
So you never did the big Marshall and all that?
No, never did it Marshall. My friends would have them, and I'd play through them. But what I owned was I always had a Yamaha solid state, and then I got a bigger solid state with double speakers, and then I had that for years and years and years, and then I stopped playing for like about 15 years, just because I was playing tennis. And when I started playing tennis, I just gave up the guitar, and then.
Did you ever have terry cloth shorts when you were playing tennis?
I had terry cloth shirts. I have the dolphin shorts. Remember dolphin shorts?
Wait, you said you have terry cloth shirts?
I had terry cloth shirts. They were from I think I want to say Kennington. You remember Miller's Outpost?
Yes, but didn't they used to have like terry cloth shirts that matched terry cloth like bathing trunks?
Yeah, I had the OP and the lightning bolt at the time, and then the Miller's Outpost had their version of the corduroy shorts with the OP, and they had terry cloth. I love terry cloth. I did, but not.
And also, is there a video of you driving around in San Diego? Like, do you have a convertible?
I used to have a convertible. I had 2. I had a Cadillac Alante convertible, and then I had a Chrysler LeBaron convertible. They're long gone. I had 2.
Oh yeah, they're gone now, huh?
Yeah, they're gone. Those are back in the 90s when I had those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, are you getting at anything with that question about the convertible? Because I feel like there was a video, and I could be completely manufacturing this in my brain, but I feel like there was a video where maybe you, Tony, had like a captain's hat or a police officer's cap or something.
Oh yeah, I think right here. See, now you're forcing me to do this on camera.
Oh, it's the best.
I was always a fan of Gilligan's Island. I like the skipper.
Now
Sure.
this, all right. That's the look. You in San Diego Dave, what would be the car?
Like a LeBaron convertible or Bonneville.
I thought you were gonna say like a '64 Cadillac.
A
Plymouth. I had to read it with this hat with that when I did the Epiphone Riviera review.
Tony, before you make your videos, you should have the camera on you with that hat on, and you getting close to the mic and going, "We're at 35,000 feet here. The air's getting a little choppy." I have Tony.
I haven't worn this in a while, but he brought it up. It was over here sitting there, so I'll put this that way.
Fantastic.
So now the captain is here.
That and a cigar or a cigar or a pipe of some sort.
Huh?
Do you smoke cigars?
No, I smoked cigarettes for 13 years, and I quit in 2004. So I've been.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was always like a pack a week, never a pack a day, never 2 packs a day, but it was always a pack a week. I would milk the cigarettes throughout the whole week, and if I started inching towards more, I have to quit. So I smoked for 13 years like that. And then someone on the dare basically said, "You'll never quit. You don't have it in you." I was at work. I just remember the guy's face. I was like ticked off. "You don't have it in you. You don't have what it takes to quit." I go, "I can quit like everybody. I can quit anytime I want." Right. No, you can't. And sure enough, July 4th, during the fireworks, I was out there smoking by myself in front of my house. I look on the floor, all these cigarette butts. I'm like, damn. Well, no one else is smoking out here but me. So all those were my cigarette butts I would fling. I'm like, this is disgusting. So I saw all those cigarette butts. I picked it all up. And then I had like a half a pack of cigarettes in my pocket. I took it out. I squeezed it, squashed it, threw everything in the trash, and I hadn't smoked since then.
Dang. Wow. Oh,
congratulations.
Because I saw the cigarette butts. I'm like, that's disgusting. What are you doing? I'm like, these are all mine. Anyone who drives by, they know it's me.
So what was your first guitar that you owned?
That I owned.
Do you still have it?
Looking around to see if you have it, that'd be amazing.
Well, the first guitar I had was from my dad, and I don't know if you remember mariachis, the Mexican mariachis. They had miniature acoustic guitars, or they're miniature classical guitars.
Like
that was
Requintos?
that was the very first one I used to learn how to play back in the 70s. The first guitar I owned, that's long gone. No, that was I think I got it at Sears back in like 78 or 79. It was an electric guitar with a pig nose amp, a little 5-watt pig nose amp. And then some of my friends had their 50-watt amps. So I'm like, I need to upgrade because I remember I had that little guitar, the little pig nose amp. This is right around 77, 78. And then these guys that I went to school with already had 50-watt amps. And I look like a joke. I'm like, I need to get better gear. So the next guitar that I would have and I own, those are gone. I would say all my guitars that I have now are from my YouTube channel on. From my YouTube.
You do not have any Strats or any Gibsons, anything like that? Is that not your flavor?
I have a Gibson Les Paul.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I can bring it if you want me to. It's a black one. And then my brother let me borrow his Epiphone Les Paul. So it's a burgundy Epiphone Les Paul, but what I have, he gave it to me for Christmas, was a Gibson Les Paul, I think special? Gibson Les Paul special.
Nice.
And it's a black one, black and silver one, the Silver Burst.
Right.
So I have the Silver Burst. That's the only Les Paul that I have. I have no Stratocaster, but I have a Stratocaster body type.
Super Strats, yeah.
Yeah, so that's, yeah.
John, what was the first guitar you owned?
The first guitar I owned was an off-brand Strat. It was a guitar called, I think the brand name was Palmer.
Palmer, don't know it.
Yeah, it was nothing, and it was like a $100 pawn shop or used guitar store find. I don't even recall. I had it for about a year. The first
But
name
that was
brand
your first
guitar.
electric, or did you play acoustic first?
No, just electric first. My grandfather had an acoustic that I would pick up at his house, but I never owned one until later.
I had a Kent acoustic. Do you remember those, Tony? Kents?
Now the name sounds really familiar.
Yeah, I had a Kent acoustic, and then my first electric was an Aria Pro 2. The ZZ Deluxe that came out in 1983.
That reminds me, I wanted the Aria Pro 2, I think. That's on the back cover of Into the Fire, or that album. What's it? Tooth and Nail. On the back cover of Tooth and Nail. That's like a weird skull and bones. Yeah, it's an Aria. I always wanted that guitar.
Yeah, I never knew that.
Sometimes it was weird graphic. I think he just used it for the photo promo.
Yeah.
Because I wanted him to endorse it, but he didn't like the guitar, but he used it for the photo shoot, and it made the back of the cover. I always wanted that guitar just because he had it, you know.
Yeah. You can probably find them. They're really cheap, the Arias. They're all made at Fujigen, too. They're like, those were all nice guitars.
I used to always want a BC Rich, but back then, to me, they were just really expensive, but I always wanted a BC Rich.
A Mockingbird, right?
It was a Mockingbird, yeah, not the Warlock, but a Mockingbird, yeah.
I love the Mockingbird. Craig Chiquiko from Jefferson Starship had one.
It was just so different. I always wanted those exotic. Yeah, one of those. I always wanted the what's that Paul Stanley one? The Iceman. I always wanted the Iceman.
Oh yeah.
That shape, the Ibanez Iceman. I still want to get an Iceman and then a Destroyer. If I ever get one, I like those shapes because they're not very common.
The classic Iceman was awesome, which was I think when Paul Stanley played it, it was the first year of the black one, right? Because they were sunburst. They were called the Artist before that, and they were sunburst.
Yeah, I'm just like, wow. And, you know, your guitar idols, I want to have what they have. I can never afford a Les Paul back then. I still can't afford a Les Paul. I got the Les Paul as a gift, so I love it. I cherish it. And,
right.
But yeah, I just don't buy too much name brands because I have cheapy brands that I can make sound good. To me, a guitar, if you can put a good pickup in,
sure,
that's all you need. A good setup and a good pickup, I can make it sound good. I don't have to have the logo.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying I don't need to spend that money for that. But if I had the opportunity, I probably would. But I like my little homemade build.
Well,
Yeah,
John and I do that, and that's part of our show. is
Yeah, we do builds all the time.
builds all the time. We buy Warmouth parts and put them together, and basically,
it's fun.
yeah. Well, it's also you get to play a guitar that you like because it has the features and the feature sets that you want. So
Right.
ends up being really cool.
Fret
I'm
size,
I
pick
have,
up. Yeah.
yeah.
You
But
guys catch yourself buying a new guitar and you love it, but then you end up either changing the pickup or you're changing something. So now you're customizing what you bought off the rack. And I saw a lot of my friends where they buy, hey, I got this new guitar. 2 months later, I'm changing the pickups. I'm
Oh,
going to
yeah.
change and I'm like, okay, you're customizing it now. Nothing wrong with that, but now
Right.
you're making it your own. I just
Sure.
do it from scratch. I don't know
Yeah.
anything about that.
This guitar here, have you seen this on my channel? This is my white Strat.
I love it. I love
So
it.
this Strat I bought on Craigslist for $300, brand new. The guy, it still had the plastic on the pick guards. I sold the neck again on Craigslist. I sold the pickups and all the pick guard, and then I went and bought this on Warmouth. I called up there's a company that 920 Sigler Music and had them make me the pick guard, rewired it, and that's what I have here.
Is
It's
that
a
ebony or rosewood? I love that neck.
it's ebony fingerboard, but the wood is Wenge. Look at the grain on that
Oh.
wood. I'll show you like this. Look at that grain.
Yeah. You totally
That's
customize it.
Yeah, it's Wenge. But now it plays like a Fender custom shop, like a $3,000 guitar, and I paid $900 for everything when all was said and done.
Now, when you bought it for 300, did you knew you were going to make changes, or you're like, I want to change
I
it?
bought it with the intention that I was selling the neck the next day on Craigslist. I sold the neck for 140. I sold the pickguard for 60. I mean, for 100. I had with all the pickups. So at the end of the day, I had just the body and all the hardware, and it cost me $60. Then I bought a $400 neck, pickups, everything, and I'm ready to go.
Do both of you guys know how to do all that installations? I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
That's my downfall. I have to pay Guitar Center here, set it up, do this. I marvel at you guys that can tinker with it and get your hands dirty, and I can't do any of that. So.
I would say to you, go out if you found like a cheap Squire, like used on, I don't know if you're on Facebook, but they have a thing called Marketplace where you can put, people are selling stuff all the time, and buy a guitar and just go take it apart. I think and if you try to put it back together, you think you'll be like, oh, this really isn't much to this.
Yeah.
It's pretty basic.
Do you do covers, or do you write your own stuff, John?
Yeah, I do covers, and yeah, I write. I haven't written anything in a little while, but I do. I play out as much as I can, doing covers and satire and tribute and whatever I can do.
Wow.
I've got a very odd Elvis meets Kiss mashup satire band. We play all over Southern California.
Oh yeah, I gotta check it out.
Yeah, I'll send you some info on it. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I do that, and I still like. I'm a gear nerd. I still carry around all the big gear, and like Dave was saying, build guitars. Got one similar.
You mentioned what was that brand you mentioned that he represents or something?
Oh yeah.
That's nice.
Cremona, but that's just classical guitars.
Oh,
that's just a day job.
That's beautiful. What is that?
Yeah, this is
That's
my
guitar. That's my guitar. I love it.
Yeah. This is a Warmouth guitar. It's basically a mahogany and koa body with a Wenge neck.
Wow.
Yeah, single humbucker with a push pull and a fixed bridge.
That's awesome.
Thing's a ripper. And
That's all you need. That's all you need.
I've got two of those. I have a white one as well, but they're both just Warmouth builds because, like we've been saying, it's kind of I can build that guitar for under $1,000 and have every single feature that I want on it, as opposed to having to sacrifice this or that or whatever, So yeah, we go that route.
Do you guys have a preference for pickups? Because all my guitars, I just have an affinity for DiMarzio Super Distortion pickups, 1 or 2. I've never had any Seymour Duncans. I love DiMarzio Super Distortions. You guys?
Yeah, I've got a few pickups that I like. I've been playing Seymour Duncan's a little bit, and I know it's not Dave's choice. Dave's a DiMarzio Fred guy. He likes that pickup a lot, and I'll let him speak to that a bit more. But I think my favorite pickup of late has been the Saturday Night Special, the Seymour Duncan Saturday Night Special.
Yeah.
Yeah, the idea behind that pickup is it's a lower output humbucker. It's I think an Alnico 4 magnet.
Wow.
And it's intended to be tonally like a PAF, but a little bit more rude.
Wow. I have to look that.
Yeah, that pickup I like a lot. It really sounds good through every amp that I own. It sounds great. So I do that one. I used to do DiMarzio Freds.
Yeah.
I haven't had one in a while.
I use the DiMarzio Fred on everything humbucker, and the single coils I use the Area 58, unless it's in the bridge, and then I use a Pro 54. But I use DiMarzio on everything.
Yeah, I love DiMarzio. I just love DiMarzio. Like, Tony, try this. No.
Well, people go through, a lot of people, especially a lot of guys on YouTube and just musicians in general, they go through a lot of stuff, trying stuff. And it's like the people who really do, who kind of just be like, I just need to get what I like and then play, usually have the people that I can talk to easier. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
People are always like, oh man, I got to try this. I got to try that. There's a new this out. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I got the guitar I want. I got the amp I want to hear. What do I need that for?
Yeah.
It's not going to blow you away. And at the end of the day, if you got, what's the amp you got now? The Boss, what is it called?
I have a Boss E-Band JS10 from 2010.
Okay, E-Band.
Yeah.
E-Band. So if you played a line 6 top of the line for $700, you're still going to sound like you.
Sure.
That's the whole point. It's like, so people are like so into the gear and stuff. Just but get something that you like the way it sounds, and if you're happy, you can stop the chase.
Yeah, I mean, I love watching people do their demos on the latest effects processor, and sometimes they'll come up with some really good tones. And I know technology is what it is. It's a lot more advanced than my Boss E-Band, but I look at it as a challenge. If I have my main effects, chorus, flanger, tremolo, distortion, whatever, I'm going to see if I can copy that, because I don't have to have your $2,000-$3,000 gear. I got my little E-Band, and I'm going to do my best to emulate it. That's why I chose for my channel to make all these videos of guitar tones that with this little box, you can sound pretty good. I would love to have a fractal, but I'm not going to go out and buy a fractal. I like to buy the new Boss GT1000, but I don't need those because I got my Boss E-Band. If this couldn't do what I wanted it to do, I'd be looking for that stuff.
Sure.
But it does everything I wanted to do. I can record, I can jam, I can edit, and it's got every effects that I wanted to. And I'm not out on stage, so it's perfect for if you're by yourself or jamming with friends or teaching someone. Has another output. Another guitar student can plug into the E-Band. You have your effects, he's got his effects, and you can teach a student one-on-one on the E-Band, record yourself. And that's not available on the Line 6 Helix or the Fractal Audio. It's just a different type of unit. So I'm really happy with this. I got 3 of them.
Now let's ask, why 3? Because you said you'd tell me.
It allows you, an E-Band allows you to save up to 100 custom presets. After that, there's no more room. So I was coming up with more tones and more tones. I'm like, how do I delete this? I don't want to delete this. I got another one. So now one E-Band has 100 custom tones. This one has 100 custom tones. And then this one is blank slate. So now if I want to have all metal tones on one, I can have this E-Band. I want to have all clean, jazz, blues, whatever, I can use that one. If I want to have all weird type of tones, I can do this one. It's just for me, because there's always songs I hear, albums I hear that I'm like, I want to emulate that, but I have no more room. Let me do it over here. Now I have room. I don't need all these presets, but I like the fact that I have them, and then it's got an SD card. So if you wanted it, I can give you the SD card, and you load it up on yours. Now you have all my tones on your E-Band.
But now, say I might be crazy, but if you saved 100 of them, and you put it on the e-card,
Yeah.
couldn't you then put the e-card over here and then get another SD card and put it in and then load up new sounds?
This is
And
where Tony
had
is stupid
three
because
of-
I.
but-
This is where I'm stupid because I had a V8 moment after I got the second E-band. I'm like, I could have done this SD card and
Right.
swapped them out. And so
Okay.
like, damn. And so, but it was already too late. So, but yeah, technically I can load it all up, extract it. But when you take out the SD card, it takes out all your backing tracks. It takes out everything. It takes it out of it. So when I take it out of my E-band now is blank with no backing tracks, no nothing, no songs, no tracks. If I put it on another E-band, that E-band takes what I had originally. If I put in a blank one here, I got to start from scratch by inputting all my songs and so forth. You know, and let me pick and choose which tracks. I have to extract everything here, grab what you need. I'll put it back as opposed to one at a time. Give me 4 tones out of your E-band. I can't give you 4 tones. I'd rather do it manually. But here's my card. Download it on yours. You just got 100 free tones. I can't give you 4 tones out of my SD card. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
You put in, it says import. Yes. Everything that's on my E-band goes into the other E-band. So that's the only downfall. I'm happy.
So,
I don't need 3 E-bands.
What's the latest album you've bought?
Oh, that's a great question.
The End Machine. The End Machine, Jordan Lynch.
I'm sorry. What's the latest album you bought that's not George Lynch?
There's a lot of sides to me. Probably Ray Conniff. See, back in the 70s, and you're my age, so I'm not old. Radio stations played all this type of easy listening, and I love that D. Martin. I love Matt Monroe. I love those type of singers, and so I also like the disco era. I like the Andy Gibb and the Leif Garrett stuff. I also like the Kiss stuff and the metal. I also like the Osmond Brothers and all that stuff. I was into all that stuff, and then I was just exposed to the radio a lot before all this other stuff came out, and I got into techno, Pet Shop Boys. I was into all that. So at the same time I was in the 80s metal, and I was hanging out with all my 80s headbanger friends. Secretly, I was into Duran Duran, and I was into all that MTV stuff. I loved it. I love that keyboard sound. I loved Ultravox. I just loved all that stuff.
Wild Wind was phenomenal.
Yeah, and I just
Rico Wild Wind.
And my friends didn't know I had that other side of me.
Wild Wind.
Yeah, so I had. So the last album I bought was probably the best of Ray Conniff. And if you're into the 50s or 60s.
I know who he is.
Yeah, and so I like going all around. I don't have any country, but I have a lot of. I don't hate country. I just don't have any country.
Sure.
But I have a lot of easy listening. I have a lot of disco from the 80s, or like Pet Shop Boys disco, New Order, stuff like that. I just have a lot of stuff.
I loved West End Girls.
Yeah, I love it. To me, that's.
Opportunity was good. You've got the brawn, I've got the brains.
Yeah, love that.
Money. Yeah, no. Now I play in a band here we called FM Station, where we play lost one-hit wonders like Aaliyah by Donnie Iris. I don't know if you remember that song, and stuff like that. But then I also play in an acoustic duo where we play 70s like Seals and Crofts.
Yeah.
And then I play bass in a funk band because I love disco stuff too. We do Thelma Houston, Don't Leave Me This Way, and
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, great. Music's good.
Yeah, I was never trapped into metal. I just gravitated toward metal, but I always I love other stuff except for rap. I was just never into rap. No rap. I like country. I just wasn't buying country, so I wasn't into rap or country growing up. Now I appreciate it. Yeah.
But you remember in the 70s when we were growing up, though, we heard songs like, hey, if you happen to see the most beautiful, right? That was country, but we didn't know that as a kid.
Yeah.
Because it was on mainstream radio.
I loved Olivia Newton-John, Roberta Flack. I loved Tony Orlando and Dawn. I loved all that stuff.
Tony Orlando and Dawn were great. Knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want me.
Well,
No,
Dave, what's the last record you bought?
Not
George Lynch, of course.
Oh, not George Lynch? The last album I bought was on iTunes, and it was you're not even going to believe it. You won't believe me when I tell you.
Tell me.
The Fabulous Johnny Cash from 1958.
Wow.
The reason why I said you wouldn't believe me is I always say I don't like Johnny Cash. But I was watching an interview with Marty Stewart, and he said it was the first album he ever bought was The Fabulous Johnny Cash from 1958. And I was like, you know what? It was before like his big hits and his breakout, so I kind of wanted to hear what it was about, so I downloaded it off iTunes.
All right.
How about you, John?
I just bought the latest Scorpion Child record. Those guys are a local band from Austin.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm pals with the guitar player. Generally I'll buy local stuff if I like it. They kind of do a real dirty 70s hard rock sound. But the guitar player Chris is a friend of mine. He's real good, and so yeah, I'm gonna support.
I love the 70s rock because that's when the bass players were really loud. I just love that overpowering bass.
Oh, yeah.
I just love that. It just sounds so alive when the bass.
I watched a documentary the other night about Kansas.
Yeah, I saw your thing.
Oh, I'm telling you right now, that band was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Underrated. I would say the first like 6 albums are phenomenal.
Yeah. And I used to hear that stuff on the radio all the time. And then we here in San Diego, there's nothing on AM. There's no more music stations. It's sad.
Yeah.
They used to play all that stuff. There's nothing anymore. It's just politics, news, Mexican stations, and then a few, top 40 stations. But all the old stuff is all gone, at least on the radio. Unless you
Yeah, I mean, everything is the same now. It's like iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
And they own everything. Yeah, I think there's Dave, I think your brother was telling me that like 6 media companies pretty much own all of the broadcasting in the United States.
Yeah.
6. It's nuts.
Yeah.
See this? Don't laugh at me, but I was listening to this a few days ago. Or a few.
What is it? 70s?
70s and 80s disco.
Oh, you tell me the name of the song, Tony. I'll tell you the artist.
On the Beat.
I have no idea.
The BBQ band.
That was a band? Never heard of it.
Like
the Blues of BBQ.
My Simple Heart.
Is this the Twilight Zone? What the hell are you?
That's Carol Douglas.
To throw back a joke from about 10 episodes ago, do you think Nights in White Satin is on the record?
Is it on there?
It's on the compilation.
That's what it was like. Tony, you ever watch those commercials where it's like Sessions presents the songs that taught you how to love? They show like every 80s song, and then out of nowhere they have Nights in White Satin. You're like, how the hell did the Moody Blues get on this mix?
Yes, I know. Remember Ronco? Those were the good old days, Ronco.
Ron Popeil.
And you remember that worst infomercial he had with that spray-on hair?
Oh, it was awful. Well, when we were kids, everything was like from Ronco.
It was.
He had a million products.
Dave, did I ever tell you that my very first record that was supposed to influence me in terms of guitar playing was Tooth and Nail from Dokken?
No.
So I go to a guitar store about a year into my guitar playing, and all I know about is Metallica, Megadeth, because it was the early 90s for me. Sure. And so I know about what I know about. And this guy goes, you want to hear some real guitar players, you got to pick up these albums. The very first one, he goes, pick up Tooth and Nail from Dokken. pick up Out of the Cellar from Rat. He's given me all these 80s things. And yeah, the very first record I picked up was Tooth and Nail. And then the following week I picked up Out of the Cellar.
Oh, that was yeah.
Yeah,
That
but
was awesome.
Tooth and Nail, the tune on there that I still like the song when I hear it today. Don't Close Your Eyes. Don't close your eyes. Ba-da-da. Ah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a great song.
Yeah, that won me over. That won me over in that album. Because Breaking the Chains album was lame. I saw them in like '83 and supported Breaking the Chains. And I was waiting for him to play Paris is Burning, but they didn't play Paris is Burning like that live version. So I was disappointed. So when I saw Tooth and Nail tour, when he played live, I'm like, that's the George Lynch that I remember live. Because to me, he was always different live than he was in the studio. And so all my friends were learning studios, the records, which is fine. I'm like, how can I be different? How can I stand out? So I just thought, I got to learn some other stuff that he's doing that no one else is going to do and that sound like him. So I was basically stealing off George's live playing. Hey, look what I learned. Where'd you get that? From George Lynch, from Dawkins. No, it's not on the album. But that's how I learned it. That's how I got it on my lips.
Tony, are you an Elvis Presley fan?
Yeah, I like him a lot. I have
Like,
all his movies.
love
I got most
John's
of his movies.
band.
Huh?
What's that?
You're gonna love John's band.
Oh, really?
John plays for a guy who calls himself Elvis Simmons.
Yeah, he's
an Elvis impersonator in Gene Simmons makeup.
Do they play in San Diego at all?
Let's see. Next show we've got is in Fullerton, and then in Anaheim. I don't know the next time we're going to be down in San Diego County, because I think after that we've got Big Bear. I'll have to look.
You don't have any videos up?
Yeah, I've got some. I'll send you some.
Yeah, I gotta see it. I'd love to see that.
It's ridiculous.
And
Yeah,
Kiss, really?
Well, yeah, like I said earlier, it's an Elvis meets Kiss satire, basically. Yeah, he's half Elvis Presley, half Gene Simmons. We've got backup vocalists who are all in the Kiss makeup. We've got a full horn section. That's crazy.
Yeah, you'd like it. It's very funny. Are you a Led Zeppelin fan at all? Did you grow up liking Led Zeppelin or?
I did. I like Blue Oyster Cult, Aerosmith, and Led Zeppelin around 76, 77. I think it was Dire Maker. I loved a lot. I played that one a lot, that album. I've always loved.
Do you know the name of that song is actually Jamaica?
Yeah, I heard that. I think it was Great White, or someone was saying that. There's like a live audio version.
Yeah, it's like phonetic spelling is, if you looked in a dictionary, it says like your maker.
Yeah.
Jamaica.
I think everyone said Dire. I said Dire.
Maker, right. Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah,
That's why.
I just love that Jamaican type of thing back then. It was really good.
Blue Oyster Cult had a couple of great songs. Do you remember the song The Veteran of the Psychic Wars from the movie Heavy Metal?
No.
Oh, that's a great song. Do you remember the movie Heavy Metal, the cartoon?
No. I don't think I've ever seen the movie.
Oh.
I remember the soundtrack. There was a big thing about the soundtrack. I remember that poster.
Yeah.
I never saw the cartoon.
Have you seen it, John?
Yeah.
Have you seen the South Park?
I didn't care for it though, but I probably saw it too.
The South Park episode when they're with the cat piss or whatever, and then they were all getting stoned off of it and going into the heavy metal episode.
Right.
It's great.
Good
you guys
God.
seen Trick or Treat? You saw Trick or Treat, right?
What is that?
It's a heavy metal movie back in 1984.
No.
Trick or Treat.
Is it D. Schneider?
Huh?
Was it D. Schneider? Did he have something to do with it?
I don't know, but I know the whole soundtrack is from who's that band? That voice from not Slaughter, not Malice, but they did the whole soundtrack. And if you look it up, Trick or Treat, the movie, you'll see it's like the ultimate 80s heavy metal movie.
Yeah, I think the only one of those types of movies that I remember was that one called Shock 'Em Dead. It had Michelangelo and Tracy Lords in it. This was post Tracy Lord's porn career. Probably came out in like '89, something like that. No idea.
I haven't.
Michelangelo Badio plays the devil. So stupid.
So Tony, do you have what is your YouTube so everybody here knows can go subscribe to you and follow and enjoy the George Lynch anarchy that you've created?
Dave, listen to me. And just go to YouTube and you can just type in my name, Tony Fuentes TV, or just type in Tony Fuentes. Fortunately, I'm the first channel that comes up when you type in my name, Tony Fuentes, and you can't miss it. You'll just see my little mug. You'll see my ugly mug on there, and you just click subscribe. You hit that notification bell, and I'll be hopefully uploading more lessons. Right now, I've just been uploading a lot of concert footage of George Lynch. Like I said, primarily 99% of my channel is George Lynch related. That's what I do.
Right.
I need to do more teaching of it, which I will. And then the other stuff is like the concert footage and guitar tones. And maybe a few product demos. But if you're into 80s heavy metal, George Lynch in particular, I will do my best to get anyone who watches my videos to learn some licks, some style points and so forth. I'm not an expert. I just love doing it, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
You put one on Tony Fuentes TV.
Yeah. Let's go.
Tony Fuentes TV. Look it up.
And if you want me to wear this hat or the other hat,
right, exactly.
Well, I think
The captain's hat does add credibility, I gotta say.
Well, if you start seeing me wearing it, I'm going to give John all the credit because
right.
It does look pretty good. It's been a while since I've worn it. So.
It actually makes you look like a Federales.
No. Yeah, I have to break it out. I think it'll be on my next video, courtesy of John.
Beauty.
There you go. Yeah, great. So yeah, everybody, if you haven't seen Tony's channel, it is George Lynch. It's a lot of fun. He's got a great, as you can see here, he has just a lot of fun and loves it and is super infectious about it. Gets a kick out of it all. We really like that and appreciate you, Tony.
Oh, this is a treat because I'm in my own little corner and I subscribe to a lot of channels and I watch a lot of people with their podcasts. I'd like to do a podcast, but my fear is I probably get no one to watch or those live events.
Right.
So I haven't done those yet, just because I don't want to have that one that one follower on there and look bad. So, but maybe one day I'll do a live, random video. But this is a big treat because the fact that you guys saw me and took the time to even reach out to me, for me, it's like it's a huge deal. It means a lot. Thank you so much because videos and the interaction I get from people are like comment sections. Great video, Instagram and so forth, and I appreciate that. But for Dave,
well, if there's anything we can do too, if there's something you want to do and do something with our channels, that's cool too.
As I told you earlier, I'm definitely going to be doing a little promo for both of you guys.
Yeah.
This thank you so much for your time and consideration and for reaching out to me, and hope I don't bore your audience out there.
Oh, it's fun. Look, we got a lot of people that like shred and everything else. And when Jon and I were first starting to look around on YouTube, you were like one of the channels that was like the most entertaining. And I can't say, because my channel is, people know me for my blunt honesty. I'm not the biggest George Lynch fan, but I am more of a fan of you. In fact, Jon and I have joked about that more times than not. If that George Lynch was as entertaining as you, maybe he'd have a better record deal. But anyway, so
I appreciate that. That's why I love your videos, David, because I hear your brutal honesty. I'm like, damn, but this is good because it's refreshing. You don't hold back, and you won me over with your Kiss video. I saw your Kansas video the other day with John.
What Kiss one did you see? Was it the Ace Frehley one where I play?
It was the most recent one. I think the end of the world or end of the line or end. This is the end for me. I think you said this is the end for me.
Right. But I actually do an Ace Frehley, like I pay homage to Ace Frehley on my Guitar Hero segment one, and I played it solo to Love Her All I Can.
Yeah, I love Love Gun. I love the early Kiss. And when you said, I don't like these albums, I'm like, huh. But that's okay. But I liked it, but you had your reasons for it, and it was good. I just
No,
loved
the whole thing is people are like so sensitive about like people say to me all the time, oh, like I hate the Scorpions on the Matthias albums. The Uli stuff's the real good stuff. And I'm like, yeah, no. I love the Uli. I love the Uli stuff too. But the Matthias stuff is what made them a household name.
Right.
He gave them the accessibility that, Uli's not giving them. And I've had a conversation with many people, and it's like, Matthias, you might not think he's as good a player as Uli, but he had something very relatable pop-wise that reached out to everybody, and his approach and his sound. And so like when people say to me they don't like the stuff that I like, I laugh. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't care. Everybody, you know what I mean? It's like at the end of the in 100 years, we'll all be dead and buried, and people will be talking about some guy that plays the some instrument we've never heard of. Thank you so much for stopping by, everybody, for another episode of Guitar Talk with Dave and John. Once again, I'm Dave.
And John.
And
that Tony.
Was very good.
Catch you later, everybody.
You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and John.